Good morning, noon, evening, middle of the nighters. Today is Saturday, September 28th, 2024. I am Barbara With, gathered here with Heike and Debbie in our little psychic sorority coffee clutch that we have, sharing with you some of the insights that we come together to glean from the party and Einstein and all of the amazing guests and co-hosts. I heard them saying before we gathered that there's so many things that are breaking up now, old beliefs, old systems. And at the same time, there's so many things that are rising up, new systems in the non-physical places, while the old structures are breaking down, and in that middle point where we're at. A lot of the work that we're doing, coming together, supporting each other, continuing our commitment to mastering our own energy through our commitment to compassion and aligning to compassion. However you do that in your life every day is your program, is your domain, it's your attention. In that unfolding of a day, you're going to find everything that you need to deal with whatever it is that you are in present moment with. We will command that only the most divine light shine down upon you at this time, and that the greatest good be present here. Today, we want to talk about the war between the intellect and the intuition. This war that rages in the intellect, in the ego, and its effect upon the intuition is the root cause of every conflict that you see manifest in the lens on your planet. The root cause of why your earth right now is manifesting this condition we talked about, where old systems are coming down, the new is rising up, happening at the same time, chaotic, amorphous quantum field of emotion. You've come here to do this. You know how to do it. Always the question has been, what is it that inspires the human to do it? What is it within you that's going to inspire you when that moment comes where you're going to be tempted in that insane thought sometimes that it's too hard, it's too much, I can't do this, this won't happen. All of that war in that intellect, defining. How is it that we inspire you to revolve that focus back into this war between your intellect and your intuition? Because we've been saying this for a long time and helping humans at least understand simple ways to realign that, to bring peace to those two. Very simple steps to define exactly what you need to do to inspire yourself to do that deep work, that master class level work of being a human that you've come here to do. If this is not your time to go that deep, back away and live in culture and then come back in again. Because sooner or later, you as a human and part of the human species are going to unify the field. And your part is your part, your slice of that enormous pie that's your domain. That's what you have charge of. And we have always wanted to inspire you to take charge, to get up off the couch in those times when the intellect is at war with the intuition. And how you inspire yourself to stand up is through the acceptance of all emotion moving through you, moving up into your heart, powerfully informing intuition to impel at an even higher frequency and vibration, as to inspire the intellect to sort through the nasty stories, to regulate what those thoughts are producing, to use the anxiety of the emotion to help you regulate what those thoughts are. This is microscopic work on self. And the beautiful part about the plan is that if you're going to look at your own domain and say, if I'm triggered by this, let's find the part of my intellect that is at war with my intuition. And what happens at war? There's a dominance, there's destruction, there's a conflict that plays out as if the other is the cause. It fuels itself. There are parts of human psyche in the operating system where these voices of culture that you live in, you get lost in them. Whether it's the voices of your own culture of childhood, the voices of the culture you live in, the voices of the culture of the other life that you're also experiencing, it doesn't matter. Whatever the voices of culture were at whatever time that were somehow degrading you or diminishing you, or that cause of anxiety. Because the truth is, in 3 months you might turn around and say, what a blessing it didn't sell, thinking it should sell right now. You don't know. And how the mind always wants to latch on to those voices of culture to be the first thought triggered by some deep anxiety, to unravel your own functioning at this level. This is the training that you want in order to be able to do what you want to do. And not in your case, Heike, you're talking about this place you're in with your school, that you're learning, becoming a doctor in that way. That's not what we're referring to. We're referring to other things that you don't see right now, things that you're learning right now that you really on a deeper level want to learn. The more you find yourself really launching into the longer view, the more you'll find that kind of control to pull back into present moment. And oftentimes, in the war between the intellect and the intuition, present moment is not a comfortable place. So being able to commit to the mystery, when you commit to the mystery and you're in the moment and you know that you are committed to working to be love, that's the mission, is to be love. You're working for the good of the whole system, starting with you and then the whole rest of the world. There can be no failure. There can only be success. And that success is partly identified by reframing what you think success is. You're going to have many successes. To reframe based upon who you're discovering you really are. All of your life, all of you, all humans, carry around this identity. I am, fill in the blank with a name, and then begin to describe. You're created by these descriptions and these stories that you bring forward through your life as memory, and then you gain more memory, and you become this hard drive that's really full of data. the war here between the head, which is where a lot of important data is stored, and the intuition, where the commands are being made on a regular basis. There isn't anything really stored in the intuition. There's just the impelling that happens at the speed of light square that changes as the situation in the lens is changing. This openness then hits that storage data. It's a wonder that humans can get anything done, frankly. It's so incredibly complex. And yet, what you're finding is when you know that system and you master your way through it, knowing that you're going to bring peace to the war between your intellect and your intuition, that's where everything begins to flourish from. It doesn't flourish from getting a website done or getting your degree or finishing a painting. It flourishes from this inner work. When you bring that peace, what does it look like? What does it feel like? It's very vacuumous. And in that vacuum, you can hear the echoes of that chaotic intellect with imagination and perception and judgments and projection, all this stuff going on in the intellect. You can hear the hum of it. But the great vast majority of that intellectual energy surrounding your head is absorbed in present moment, in the wonder of the present moment, listening accordingly to what intuition wants you to do. Sometimes intuition wants you to cry. You all know that. You've all been through that. Everyone has. Intuition wants you to cry. It doesn't want your intellect to beat yourself up and try to make yourself not cry by choking off your emotions with too much intellect going on. Like a jealous sibling. No, over here, let me distract you from that. This war, you see, it's on so many different little levels, from sibling rivalry to family rivalry to community rivalry to this global rivalry. So we stick with yours, because that's where you have the power over your own domain. As we studied this through the years with your help, we have come to even us having a new revelation of the change in the underlying system, sort of like how Einstein's work totally revolutionized Isaac Newton. And we're finding that those of you who are able to go past the rhetoric, who are willing to go into that boot camp of self and take full mastery over what is yours to take control of, in this way, we're building this network energetically that's getting more and more and more united. And you're feeling that too. And maybe this is how it feels a bit, where you're going through your day and maybe you get triggered, and so you find yourself very able to pop into your witness to quickly assess the situation and say, okay, my mother said this, and here's the feeling, and bringing it back into yourself, funneling off a potential conflict and taking mastery of self. These are steps. These are baby steps. Now there's going to be another trigger. Now there's going to be another trigger. Now there's going to be another trigger. It's the way the system is set up. But when you have mastered your part of it and trained yourself like you are right now to feel and breathe all your feelings and to let intuition come up into your heart to impel you to take that next step that you need to take, the next step for the good of the whole system, and then watching your intellect, instead of arguing and judging, calming down as if you're in some sort of sacred ritual where one becomes quiet and listens to the song of the universe, listens to what the voices around you want to say and tell you, help you sleep, help you open up to your dreams and your dream life, and help bring you back into your body to have a new approach to your systems. One more step of mastery. One more step of mastery. One more step of mastery. And we'd like to tell you too, as we've been talking, 3 white-tailed deer, one at a time, have walked past our window. Unconditional love, compassion. This is your mission. And when it starts with self, it's not as hypnotic and attractive as if it were going to start with something shiny outside you, some kind of position or achievement or possession. No, this is the mastery of self that goes past this lifetime. Anything outside you that you wish to possess or acquire or achieve, it's good. But ultimately, the mastery of yourself will outlast you, and it will affect other timelines. So when you're in these more difficult emotional places where intuition wants you to cry your eyes out, let yourself go. Let yourself go there. Let yourself be. And if you're in a place where your intellect doesn't think you have time to do this, or it's not easy, or whatever intellect is going to come back at to try to dissuade you from doing this, from feeling your feelings, the use of the breath every time makes you just a little stronger, just a little stronger, just a little stronger, just a little stronger. This is a preparation period for all of you. For the planet, yes, because you are just a microcosm of the macrocosm, but for all of you, this is a very important, potent time, and we've been focusing our work with you on excelling in being yourself, in taking risks to speak the truth, to live the truth. And one way to bring peace to the war between the intellect and the intuition is breathing. Breathing deeply all the emotion up to just be. And to do this, you have to make sure that your self-care includes doing this. You know you can't always be in a position to cry your eyes out, but to recognize the greater you, to be so much more of mastery at your witness, to be mastering your emotion, that you've built into your system a way to process all this deep emotion, that you built into your system a way for you to hear intuition. What do you need to do to hear it? Is it 5 seconds with 2 deep breaths and clearing this mind out for that nanosecond to hear what's radiating from inside your heart, radiating upward, impelling you? These are the changes in how you live that are necessary at this time in evolution. And as always, you are the forerunners. You are doing this, you're doing it brilliantly. We're not missing anything. We're not missing a moment ourselves of the evolution right now, what's going on in this complex system, the fact that the party only gets bigger. So with all of that said, we'll open for questions and conversation.
Well, thank you so much. I have been conscientiously trying to stay in the moment, but you've reminded me how important when doing that is to also be in touch with my emotion all the time to breathe through any of that anxiety. But I feel like I've been experiencing so much magic being in that moment to moment and letting go of control or planning anything and just letting it go. And I just have been experiencing so much benefit and fortune from that. I can't tell you how difficult this work is because it takes a lot of conscientiousness, but it is so magical. And the more I realize and experience it, I'm more using the system, constantly being aware of intending for the good of the whole and trusting that. I can tell you successes, always successes when I'm asking for the good of the whole, and it's letting go of me, especially as you've explained before, because doing that takes care of our needs. So it pretty much is really relaxing. And I think the deer is peace. Three of those, the deer, three of us finding our peace. I thank you for helping us to find that peace.
Yes, and the work that you've done and the work that you're doing is phenomenal. It's phenomenal, and it's difficult. We know that when it gets hard, because there is that screechy part of the intellect, the part that just doesn't want to let go. The deer also represent that there's a gentleness about which you approach yourself in times where maybe in real life, in those times you were slapped. How do you approach yourself knowing that that part of you that you're in war with needs to, it's PTSD, anxiety, and this kind of stress and anxiety that everyone's feeling, everyone on the planet is feeling it. And it, of course, surfaces in its own details. Intentionally working for the good of the whole means that you will make decisions about how to approach that traumatized side of self that doesn't want to let go. And intuition will tell you in any given moment how to deal with it. Sometimes that traumatized child does still put up some dramatic front so it doesn't have to do the work or feel the feelings. That's still true, even though you're dealing with seriously traumatized aspects of self. There's these other ones that need to be stood up to. And intuition will tell you that in any given moment when you cultivate that position. It's like a Tai Chi position, that position of waiting for intuition to tell you what to do and then doing it. So easy to understand, but oftentimes impossible to do.
Exactly. The conscientiousness and intention so strong that I'm very confident in myself. Eventually we'll get there. Yes. Thank you so much for everything. I have the tears and the chills behind my eyes and nose when you were talking. It's like this resonates so deeply. It's just marvelous. Thank you so much.
Yes. Yes, of course.
I have a question too. Right now, I have a little bit of a problem with society in general when I see that people are going to concerts or going to the restaurant or going there and there and there and indulge a lot in distractions in a way and are lying to themselves, everything is okay, and blah, blah, blah. I'm wondering, is that just a kind of a reflection of me that I'm annoyed about myself in one way, not seeing my own lies or not seeing my own indulgences, or I just recognize that I am not interested to be a part of that any longer. Before I enjoyed it much more, but now it's just not interesting. Nothing of the normal is interesting anymore. So I am so excited about our work. I am excited about the new way I'm going. I'm excited about learning about myself and about everything in connection with consciousness and growing consciousness. But all the normal earthly life doesn't interest me anymore, except nature. So when I'm outside in nature, that's okay, or talking to people for a short time is okay. Everything else is just boring me. Do you have any insights?
Yes, we do. In fact, that what you have recently committed to undertake in your professional life was something that you knew on some level was going to take up a lot of your energy and focus. You probably made conscious decisions faced with being aware that your time was going to be more limited, that you were going to be thrown into places that were going to be new, etc. So you knew that, not like you didn't know that going in, but what you didn't anticipate was how much of your soul is being tapped on so many levels. And it's not an accident, and you know that, it's not a mistake. It's just that you didn't really fully understand how much energy what you were going to do it takes. On top of that, by doing what you're doing, you're evolving yourself, regardless of what the people back in your orthopedic unit said about you were this, why you're leaving, you had this. Besides that, you did what intuition told you to do. You put yourself at risk, so to speak, taking a step that you knew you had to take. When intuition impelled you, there was a great part of your intellect that did go into war with it. But you, on a greater sense, knew that this is what it had to be. This is what you were being impelled to do right now. And so shut up and get with the program, and this is where we're going. When you have successfully defeated what could have been an obstacle that was put in your path with your coworker, turned into a display of the power that you're getting by living an authentic life, by living aligned to compassion and following intuition. So the fact that you're not attracted to that right now is a way to protect you, because otherwise you would be talking yourself into going there and expending energy you don't have. And the reason nature is so inviting is because that's where you need to be in order to recharge. The more that you can forget about all of that social culture and go recharge in nature, the better you'll feel, the stronger you'll be, the more you'll accept finding out who you really are. Because what we've been saying since the very beginning of us talking through Barbara, is that you're peeling away these layers like an onion that you couldn't do unless you went through your life. But for some reason, this life is the life where you get to be super hyper conscious. You get to be the lead life where the other timelines are coming in and you're conscious of it. By doing all of that deep, deep work, your mastery will lead you. Is it going to lead you to know the steps to make your house sell? No, it's going to lead you to the water, to the sky, to the earth, to yourself, to your breath, on a almost religious retreat into yourself, of honoring yourself. We think that your intuition is saying rest quite a bit. Rest and rejuvenate every chance you get. And sometimes it means you cut stuff out that will come back later. But for now, it's all about that passion for intuition.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's exactly how it feels. Thank you so much.
So we'll close the channel by telling you both so much thank you. This work that we're doing together is so very important. There's an anchor here in the party. It's a huge, huge, powerful force the party has gotten, filled with all of those souls who, even when they were in a living life and might have been purveyors of war and then passed into the afterlife, to be able to see what that really means, and then shifting their energy, their intention, their commitment in afterlife, karmically, to balance this out, to bring this new operating system that manifests truth, that we are all one and we work for the good of the whole, starting with caring for ourselves. And as you do that further and further into your life, and you have to get to know who you are now, because it's not who you thought you were even 3 years ago. Every day is a day to discover who it is you are. Every day is a chance for you to start completely new. Every day you can wake up and intentionally, before you even get out of bed, take those first breaths into your gratitude, into your intention. Every day you can say, I fully intend to make this the most miraculous, mysterious, manifesting day for the good of all. It's humanly possible. And then we guarantee you'll only need to watch and be amazed. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.